Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss the topic has, have, had, do and did. We are going to talk about has, have, had, do and did. So basically in this chapter we are going to see how has, have, had, do and did can act as both main verbs as well as helping verbs. How they can act as both main verbs and helping verbs. Now main verbs and helping verbs we have already discussed in chapter 10. What are main verbs, children? Main verbs are the verbs that convey the main meaning in the sentence, and they can stand alone. That is, they don't need any other word to make complete sense in the sentence. Helping verbs on the other hand have different functions. They help the main verb. They help the main verb and they also tell the time or the tense in the sentence. They also tell the time or tense in the sentence. And their job is to help the main verb. Help the main verb. So now we will see that how has, have, had, do and did can act as both. So first we will see how has, have and had can act as the main verbs. Have or has and had can be used as main verbs. Here have, has are in present form. Okay, have, has are in present form and had is the past form. Had is the past form. Now whenever have, has and had are used as main verbs, they have the following uses. Okay. First one is they are used to show ownership. Ownership, or you can say what is owned. Okay, what is owned. We'll understand this with the help of an example. I have a pet cat. The sentence is I have a pet cat. Here the usage of have shows us the ownership, right? I own a pet cat. I own a pet cat. All right. Or we can also say I have a car. So I own a car. So in order to show ownership, we use have, has and had. Okay. Second use of have, has, had is to talk about fixed programs. Talk about fixed programs or pre-planned programs. See the example here. We have a meeting with the principal tomorrow. We have a meeting with the principal tomorrow. So here we are talking about some fixed plan, like the meeting is already planned, right? So when we have to talk about something like that, we use have, has and had. Next usage is to talk about food and drink, or you can say about eating. Okay, whenever we have to talk about food, drink and eating, we use have, has and had. For example, they have breakfast early in the morning. So this is whenever we have breakfast means eating breakfast. Okay, they have breakfast also means eating breakfast. So whenever we have to talk about eating, we use have, has and had. Another example, Jacob had an ice cream last Sunday. So now you're talking about food items, right? Food item. You're talking about ice cream. So we use have, has and had here. Now, next use is to talk about illnesses. Okay, illnesses, or you can say to mean suffer from. Okay, if you have to talk about some suffering, then you use have, has and had. For example, I have a toothache. I'll see a doctor tomorrow. Toothache means you have pain in your teeth or tooth. So you'll use have, has and had in order to convey some sort of illness. And remember that had is the past form of has and have. Whenever you have to convey all these things about ownership, fixed programs, food and drinking, eating and illnesses in the past form, past tense, you will use the had. You will use had. Now here we will discuss the structure that you have to follow. When do you use have, has or had? Okay. You use have, has have and has when, that would depend upon the subject. Okay, that will depend upon the subject of the sentence. So if the subject, let me write it here, subject in the sentence is I. Okay, I, we, they, and you. I, we, they, and you. Then you will use have in the sentence. I, we, they, you, or any plural subject. Any plural subject you will use have with it. Okay. If the subject is he, she, it, or is any singular noun or subject, then you will use has. Okay, this is the rule you have to remember. We use have with subjects I, we, they, you, or any plural noun, and with he, she, it we use, or any other singular noun we use has. And had is used with all types of subjects. You can use had with I, we, they, you, he, she, it, or any singular or any plural subject. But the thing is, you use had whenever the sentence is in past tense. Whenever the sentence is in past tense, you use had. That is the only difference. As you can note in these examples, I have a pet cat. Here the subject is I. So here you have used have in place of has. You will never use has here. You cannot say I has a pet cat. That would be incorrect. With I you always use have. See the next one also. We have a meeting with the principal tomorrow. Here the subject is we. So with we always use have. So we have is right. Now here in the third one, Mr. Rajam has two daughters. Mr. Rajam has two daughters. Now Mr. Rajam here is a singular subject, right? It is a singular subject. Why? Mr. Rajam is one single person. It is one single person. So it is singular. So with singular subjects we use has. So Mr. Rajam has. See the next one. They have breakfast early in the morning. Now here we have used the subject they. So with they we use have all the time. So they have breakfast early in the morning is right. See the next one. Jacob had an ice cream last Sunday. Now Jacob is the subject in this case, right? It is the subject and it is singular. Jacob is one person, right? So with singular nouns or subjects we use has. But here the sentence is in past tense, isn't it? The sentence is in past tense. He had an ice cream last Sunday. So the act of eating an ice cream occurred last Sunday. So here the sentence is in past tense. So we use had in place of has or have. Now here we will discuss about do, does, and did, and how they can be used as main verbs in sentences. Okay, so the verb do can be used as main verb in a sentence, just like have, has, had. Just now we saw how they can be used as the main verb in the sentence. So do has two present forms. The one is do and does. These two are the present forms, and its past form is did. The past form of do is did. Alright, now let's see how we can use do, does, and did. Now, if we will use do or does in a sentence would depend on the subject. Whether you'll use do or does in a sentence will depend upon the subject. So like we saw in the case of has, have, and had, you have to remember this. Okay, if the subject is I, you, we, they, or any plural any plural subject or noun, in that case we will use do with those subjects. You can see the example here. I do my homework regularly. Here the subject is I, right? And with I we use do. Similarly, see, my elder brothers do his homework carefully. Here is a mistake, it will be there, okay? My elder brothers do their homework carefully. So my elder brothers do their homework carefully. Here the subject is my elder brothers. My elder brothers. Now brothers means plural. So with plural you use the verb do. My elder brothers do their homework carefully. Now if the subject is he, she, it or any singular subject or singular noun, we will use does. As you can see in this example, Rajamma does her homework neatly. Here Rajamma is the subject in the sentence, right? Now Rajamma is singular, isn't it? She is one in number, one person, right? So since it is singular, we will use does. So Rajamma does her homework is correct. You cannot say Rajamma do her homework neatly. That would be incorrect. Now let us discuss when we will use did. So all these sentences are in present. Okay. We use do or does when we are writing the sentences in present form. Now did is used with when you have to express the same things in past form. Alright, in past tense. And did goes with all the subjects. It will go with singular subjects as well and with plural subject. All these subjects mentioned here. You can use did with all of them. Okay. So see example number 4. Bibu did his homework last evening. Bibu did his homework last evening. Last evening is showing that the activity has already been done. So the sentence is in past. Therefore you use did in the sentence. Now Bibu is singular, right? It is singular. Again, you can use did with all types of subjects. Now we know that have, has, had and do, does, did can be used as main verbs. We just saw that they can be used as main verbs. Now we will learn how have, has, had and do can be used as helping verbs. Let's understand this with the table, with the help of this table. So let's see have, has, had first. Used as main verb. We have already discussed how they can be used as main verb, right? They can be used to show ownership, to show any fixed programs, to talk about food, drink and eating, and to talk about illnesses, right? And when they are used as helping verbs, they help the main verb in the sentences. Okay, whenever they are used as helping verbs, they help the main verb in the sentence. For example, see here, I have cleaned my room. I have cleaned my room. So the verb have is actually helping the main verb cleaned and giving us some information about the time. All right. Now let's see do, does, did. Do, does, did when used as a main verb act as action verbs. Okay, they act as action verbs, that is denoting some actual action. Okay, and when they are used as helping verbs, they are used to form questions. Yes or no questions. Yes or no questions. They are also used to form negative sentences. Negative sentences. Okay. So we use do or does and did. Whenever we use do, does and did as helping verb, we use them to form yes or no questions. Yes or no questions are questions whose answer is either yes or it will be no. And negative sentences. See the example here. Do you like apples? This is a yes or no question. The answer would be yes or no. Yes, I like apples. No, I don't like apples. So this is one of the usage. Then do, does, did can also be used to uh, form negative sentences. Negative sentences. She does not know French. This is a negative sentence.